Hey, what's going on? You're checking out The Fearless Flip. I'm Kyle Stanley, and right behind me is a very special project. This is a house in Fresno, California, 2 houses on 1 lot. And you are, yes, going to see amazing before and afters. You are going to see amazing transformation. You're gonna be entertained because it's a flipping show. Who doesn't love a good flipping show? But I want this one to be unlike any other flipping show that you've ever seen. And here's how I'm going to do that. We are right here at the end of this project. So I'm coming to you, introducing this video, already having seen what you're about to see. And that is about 8 weeks in the making of one house, a small house that has not only been vacant for over 20 years, being turned into an amazing luxury Airbnb, but also this big house and how we've helped a tenant, we've helped a homeowner to be able to get out of their home, a brand new person to be able to move in where their family's right down the road. And more so, I want to teach you how I've done this, how I've leveraged other people's money, how I've leveraged relationships, and I've helped a ton of people along the way and educated myself like crazy how to do this flip. So get ready, buckle in. You're gonna see a story that is hopefully going to help you get the confidence to go out and conquer real estate investing. Let's check it out. All right, so before we get into the meat and potatoes of this entire story and the before and afters, I know you're excited to see that. I just need you to understand where this deal came from. And there's so many people that get into wanting to become a real estate investor, but think, oh, well, I don't know how to find deals, and I don't want to spend a bunch of money on direct mail. I don't want to put up these bandit signs. I don't want to cold call. And guys, guess what? Neither do I. And here I am, as I'm recording this and as I've already finished this project, I've now done 5 real estate deals in my first year, all through networking. And the way that I found this deal was through a realtor here in town named Natalie.
This property came here on my desk, and talked to the seller a little bit. And at first we were going to just, throw it on the market and try to get him as much as he could. And so I went out to the property and did a walk around, and we noticed that in the guest house there was some, looked like termite damage or just issues that were probably going to come up for anybody that was getting a loan. And that's when I thought of Kyle. Kyle immediately came over and took a look at it and decided it was something that he wanted to buy.
So thanks to Natalie, I had a new property, and also thanks to Natalie, the owner now had a buyer to help him get out of a sticky situation, especially because his wife had passed away last year from cancer.
My decision was fairly easy. Get into an apartment and live my life, and as well as by moving to Visalia, I end up being close to my daughter, son-in-law, 2 granddaughters, and their husbands, and my great-grandchildren.
So I raised the money, and now I needed to decide, was this going to be a rental or a flip? I asked both my contractor and mentor for their opinion. John is my mentor, so I feel really comfortable in this whole process, just taking John through my project and asking you, really, John, after seeing this house, 2 houses on 1 lot, and the little one needs a little bit of work, but what would you be doing here? I'm kind of torn between whether I want to sell it or hold on to it as a rental. What would you be doing?
Personally, I would probably keep it, just because it'll cash flow pretty well right off the bat, and it is 2 houses on 1 lot. Maybe even play around with the Airbnb thing that you're thinking. I think that might be good as well.
Okay, pause. Yes, you heard right. Airbnb here in Fresno, middle of the country. It works. You're going to see why here in a little bit. Doing the numbers, I could see myself making, $30,000 to $40,000 on this flip, and that's enticing, especially for someone new like me. But long play here. The whole reason I'm in the flipping game is because I want to build up that passive income. But the big question for me was, what is the difference between a rental and a flip in terms of your budget, materials, all that good stuff? So I brought in my contractor to answer those questions. I just need to know from a numbers standpoint, and also from a just kind of tactical standpoint from your end, what's the difference between if I use this as a rental versus just flipping it?
So basically the main difference is rentals, you take what's existing and you kind of just spruce them up. You don't want to go too far overboard because you're not really going to get your money as quick. It's not going to be quick of a turnaround. Versus a rehab, it's a little bit quicker to get all of your money you just put back into it. Rentals are generally going to always be a little bit less because again, most rentals, unless they were really treated badly, all you're really doing is adding countertops, changing light fixtures, and then you kind of just put the pieces back together.
So after my talk with John and Frank, I decided this was going to be my first rental. All right, so this is where it gets really fun. The rental that I was going to put in place is not long-term, it's Airbnb. And so I started doing the numbers and saw what was possible with doing Airbnb out of the small house. And I got really excited. So I pictured it in my mind. I could see it right away. And I call this now today the mother-in-law hack. But where it came from was I could picture this family living in the big house with a stay-at-home mom or some sort of flexible schedule with one of the parents who could go and clean and manage the small house, and in return they get reduced rent. I don't have to worry about managing it. I don't have to worry about cleaning fees, and the guests get a really great experience because they have an on-site manager. I pictured this, it came to fruition because as soon as I started thinking about this, someone walked right up to my contractor while they were working on the big house and they said, "Hey, is this thing gonna be rented out? We're interested." I called them, and within a few days of figuring out exactly who they were and how great they were and the situation of them needing to be close to family, their father-in-law lives right down the road, it touched my heart. But this all happened while we were finishing up the big house, transitioning into doing the small house. This small house had so much that had to go into it. Just 700 square feet, but electricity issues. You can see here this PVC pipe, funnily enough, was connecting one house to the other for electricity. So lots of electrical issues. We had to get a new AC, new plumbing. There was a lot that we had to do going into this. My big question was what I was going to do with this kitchen. We are in the 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and in the kitchen right now. It needs some work. So what do you think here?
I don't know, Kyle. You got quite a kitchen on your hands here. It's definitely dated. You know, you can tell, you know, from the Formica countertops to the older sink, older plumbing fixtures. You know, you even got that toaster probably from the 80s.
I was thinking about holding on to that. You know?
Yeah, you might want to, you know. House comes with the toaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you got this range hood over here that is right in front of a window. It's kind of odd.
You think close that window up?
Yeah, I would definitely close that window up and make it a little more functional. Maybe even put a microwave there. And then you got a real huge space for your stove here. Unless you have like a 40-inch stove, you know, put a finished cabinet here. As far as these cabinets are concerned, I don't know if I would reface them or replace them altogether. You know, obviously it's, you know, more cost effective to reface them. You know, it's kind of up in the air.
Okay, so my contractor and I were talking about just replacing them, but maybe we can give them a call and talk about just refacing.
Absolutely. We're trying to determine if he should reface these cabinets or replace the boxes. What is your opinion?
If he can redo faces only and we just paint the boxes, then yeah, it'd be a lot easier just to reface. As far as cost efficiency.
Great.
As far as long-term efficiency though, new, you know, everybody knows new is better. So
Yeah,
long-term wise.
absolutely, I completely agree.
Even though we thought we could get away with just new faces for the cabinets, I decided that because I wanted to have a luxury feel for this house for my Airbnb guests, I needed to have new. So we did in fact go with the cabinets to avoid long-term issues, but we still had other problems that we ran into with the small house, especially with the plumbing.
Right now we've got the water back up, but as you can see, we've got some corroded lines. So we need to figure out what's gonna be able to hold up with pressure. So right now we've got very little water coming out of the lines. So we've got to figure out how much more pressure we can get to them before they burst and where we're at as far as pressure. Coming out of the valve, we got some good pressure, but coming into the house, we're losing it somewhere.
Okay, so if that's still an issue, what's the solution there?
We're gonna repipe.
Okay.
We're gonna have to repipe the house because it looks like coming in, we're good. They've ran 1-inch PVC. We're to square one right now, trying to figure out where it's stopped at, where it's clogged at, and where to go from there.
And after a few more days, thank God we did not have to repipe the house. They finished that up and then they quickly finished the rest of the house.